All right. Hey there, everyone. I am Adam. Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary. In this video, we are going to talk about nice versus price, quality versus price paid. And we're going to look at a couple of examples. And I think there's a way to compare two cards that are the same card, but they're different quality, different grades, different pricing. I think there's a way to compare that's more realistic that might just help some of us decide just what quality, just what grade, just how much we're willing to pay for a particular card. So without further ado, let's do it. All right, I couldn't resist. The Willie on the left in the PSA 3 is a relatively recent purchase. The 56 Topps Willie Mays Whiteback. I've shown it off a couple of times already and now a third time. The Willie on the right, a PSA Pristine 1, is an even more recent purchase. I just couldn't resist. I said, hey, I'm going to make the seller an offer, and if he takes it, I'm going to take this Willie home too. So let's go ahead and compare these two Willies, see which one you like better. So for the PSA 3, nicely centered, just clean. You know, it's got some chipping, especially up in this upper right corner. That's really common with the whiteback, something about the glue or the, cardstock that was used. So what's going on otherwise to make this a 3? A little bit of corner wear. There's just a little surface wrinkle right up here. I'll try to get the light on it right, kind of coming through here. Doesn't break the paper, but it's up there. And also a little bit of wrinkling right down here. So a little wrinkling in the lower right corner on the front there. And then also upper left corner on the front. Okay, but when you look at it straight on, you don't see the wrinkling. And, it's not on his face and does not break the paper. So, hey, that works for me for a 3. Back, I think, is really, really nice. Nice color. Again, just a little bit of minor corner wear, a little bit of wrinkling. And that makes this one a relatively recently graded PSA 3. All right, let's switch to the PSA Pristine 1. Woohoo! Now, the seller said it's got some wrinkling, but you really can't see it. Well, I guess when you look straight on like this, you don't really see it. But when you turn it at an angle, oh yeah, Wrinkle City, baby. Woo! Notice pretty nicely centered, a little corner wear. That usual edge corner chipping for the whitebacks. But let's see if we can get some of that wrinkling to show up. Look at that, all through his face, little wrinkles. We got a big a big wrinkle coming down kind of through the N in New York in the red, the red banner there. And then also you can see some wrinkling coming around by his feet. Lots of wrinkling. Maybe it's easier to show it than describe it. But yeah, this card has a lot. Look at all that wrinkling. That's why it's a 1. So I guess the seller was kind of correct. If you look at it sort of straight on, you don't really see the wrinkling. But if you look at it at an angle, oh yeah, it's Wrinkle City. I think there's just a tiny little place or two where the wrinkling breaks the paper. Maybe one spot somewhere, but not bad as far as that goes. And then let's look at the back. You can kind of see some of the wrinkling on the back as well, but it's harder to see on the back because we don't have the same gloss, I don't think. But there is some wrinkling you can see. I think, still pretty nice card for sure. So, which card would I rather have if I could only have one of these? Well, the answer might seem obvious. In terms of condition, I like the 3 better than the 1, but I don't think the answer is that simple because we've got to bring in the prices. So let's bring in the prices now, and then let's kind of move on with our experiment to compare nice versus price. All right, now we're bringing in the price. So the PSA 3 I paid $442 for. Maybe a little bit on the high side, but maybe not so much. And then the PSA 1, the seller wanted $150. It was a new listing, $150 or best offer. Actually, today in this market, $150 didn't seem like a bad buy. So I thought, I don't really need another whiteback 1956 Topps Willie Mays, but I'm going to go ahead. I couldn't resist. Offer the seller $125. If he takes it, I'll have another one. So, now I've got another one, and I don't regret it, because I feel like for $125, I'm not into it too much. I feel like, I could trade it away at some point and maybe just get my money back. I'm not really even worried about making money. I don't see myself losing a lot on that card, and so I'm okay with that expense personally. But really, a fair comparison is, we've got to bring in the price. Like, would we like the card on the left, the PSA 3, better than the card on the right, the PSA 1? Personally, I like the 3 better overall. If I'm just comparing them straight up, but now we're bringing in the prices. Now this is different because there's a $317 difference. Here's another way to look at it. You could buy, let's see, at $125 each, you could buy 3 PSA 1s and still have, $67 left over if I did the math right. So there's a pretty substantial difference in price here. I believe the card on the left is over 3.5 times. No, maybe not quite. Close to 3.5 times the price of the card on the right. I'm just doing the math in my head here. Of course, I am a mathematician, so I should be able to at least estimate decently. So we've got to bring in price. So let's look at a couple scenarios that I think are a more fair comparison. Now, these are using prices I paid, and granted, I might have got a better deal or not so good of a deal, but they're just for illustration purposes. All right, so let's look at scenario number 1. All right, we're only going to look at a couple scenarios because otherwise I'll make this video way too long, trying to cut them down some just to be respectful of people's time. But anyway, on the left, we've got $450. Here, we've got the $442 PSA 3 Willie Mays, together with $8 just to get us up to $450. On the right, we've got the $125 Willie Mays and a recent purchase, which I have shown before, a mystery card at $325. So notice, both on the left side, we've got $450 in value total. On the right, we also have $450 in value total. And these are all pretty recent purchases. Now we ask the question, what's the better value? Is it the PSA 3 together with $8 to make the sides equal, the deals equal, or is it the PSA Pristine 1 together with the $325 mystery card? Well, let's look at the mystery card. See what you think. The mystery card is the glorious 1941 double play, Ted Williams, Jim Tabor, in a Too Good to Be 2. And check out that portrait from his epic year. So sharp, so centered, so vibrant. None of the typical print issues where you'll get a lot of print blotching and so forth. Some little wrinkles down here, but they're not on the face, just down in the commentary that don't even break the paper. Little paper loss on the back, but hey, blank back. Let me see if I can put this over here. All right. So now what? What do you think with, like right now as the collector, what if I had to, let's see if I can get a little better focus here. There we go. Right now as a collector, what if I had $500 at a card show and I was deciding, would I spend the $442 for the card on the left and then take my $8 and maybe go get a little lunch or something? Or would I spend my, $450 for the 2 cards on the right? Or what if I had to sell? Would I sell, I don't know if you could sell the $8. I guess you could sell it for $8. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'll trade you $8 for $8. But what if I had to sell the card on the left versus selling the 2 cards on the right? That's scenario number 1. Let's move on, my friends, to scenario number 2. Woohoo! All right, scenario number 2. On the left, our $442 Willie. On the right, our $125 Willie, together with $25 and a $160 mystery card, which, by the way, still leaves us $132 shy. We'll get to that in just a minute. But before we even get to the additional card at $132, let's just look at the $160 mystery card. So again, would we rather have the Willie on the left or the Willie on the right plus $25 plus the $160 mystery card, which I got at the National last year, plus a recent pickup I have not shown for $132. But again, before we get to that recent pickup, what do we have here at $160? Now, admittedly, I got a great deal on this at the National. 51 Burke Ross Stan Musial. That is such a sweet card. It's got the cool vintage cards in the back and really nice registration. By the way, John Kryptonite, let me know in a comment at one point, this is the only Musial card he's aware of where Musial is fielding as opposed to hitting. Or maybe, anyway. Or maybe running the bases, I don't know. But here's the back. So, I'm not aware of another one where he's fielding, but such a beautiful card. I love the colors. Absolutely love this card. So would we rather have the Musial, let's see if I can get this up here, where we can see it, plus the $25, plus the pristine 1 Willie, plus, all right, how about if you could also have a 7-inch long purple Willie that was Purple Johnson, that was 5 inches thick, in addition to the pristine 1, the $25, the Stan Musial, which is a tough card, by the way. What if you could also have a 7-inch long Johnson? Let's make it a purple and gold Johnson that's 5 inches thick for the additional $132. Let's check it out. All right, a recent purchase, one at auction for $132, the 85-star Team 5x7 Magic Johnson. Oh, yeah, by the way, this completes my Star 5x7 Magic Johnsons. This is so nice. I wonder if I can back it up enough so you can see. I mean, this Johnson is so big. You can see the whole thing there. What a sweet card. Let's take a look at the back. Back's really nice as well. I don't know if I can get all of these, all of this into one video. Let me move everything back, then I'll be able to. All right, so this is scenario number 2. Scenario number 2, let me move this down here. We get the Willie in a pristine 1. We also get $25, the 51 Burke Ross Stan Musial, and in a near mint to mint 8. Tough card in this high grade. The purple and gold, 7-inch long, 5-inch thick Willie. Woohoo! Hey, Pepino Man, he can't have all the innuendo on his channel. I guess there's another channel out there too, like It Cometh an Egg or something that has a lot of innuendo. But anyway, this is scenario number 2. We could go on with more and more scenarios, but let me go ahead and wrap this up for us. All right, so which Willie would I rather have? Well, it depends on my budget. Back when my budget was $100 per month for hobby, I would much rather have this one because that represents, more than a month's budget. And $442 would represent about 4.5 months budget, which is crazy. So when my budget was $100 a month, absolutely I'd rather have this one. I think for a 1, it looks pretty nice. And I think the price was reasonable for a 1. When you look at it straight on, of course, when you look at it at an angle, you're going to see lots of creases, lots of wrinkles. But you know what? When it comes to the grade of 1, for the most part, we expect to have some pretty significant issues. So this looks pretty nice straight on. And so if my budget were around $100 a month, absolutely I'd rather have this pristine 1. Pristine 1! Woohoo! But because my budget is more, I would personally rather have this 3 right here. Sure, it's got some wrinkling too, but it's much less. And it's not on his face, so I like that. It's pretty subtle compared to the other. I mean, yeah, you can see it but you really have to, you really have to look for it a lot more. So I'd rather have this 3 for sure. Now, what about the scenarios though? Scenario 1, scenario 2. Oh man, I tell you what, that's tough. That's tough. If I had to choose a scenario, I'd choose scenario 2. I'd keep the big Magic Johnson. I'm working on all the star Magic Johnson, Kareem, Dr. J, and Larry Bird. That's a key card right there. I think I got a pretty good deal on it. So, and then the usual, I mean, it's tough, but I'd go for scenario number 2. All right, let me go ahead and turn this camera around. All right, I hope you found this to be somewhat useful. Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, we all, all right, enough innuendo for one video. I hope you found this to be somewhat useful. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think, when we look at nice versus price, we often compare 2 copies of the same card. We say, well, this one's nicer than that one, or we think it's nicer, or it's, we like it better. And fair enough, that's all well and good, but it's certainly not the whole story. Nice versus price, that's the whole story. It's like, what can you get for the less expensive card? What other cards or cash can you add to it in order to make a package that's equivalent to the more expensive version of that card that hopefully has higher quality? If it doesn't, well, then, the choice is super obvious. I think that's the fair comparison right there. Would love to hear what you think below. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Take care, my friends.